All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. 3 games to talk about. Slates are getting a little bit smaller. We saw 2 teams get eliminated last night, so that was interesting. Sad for DFS because now we're not going to have probably any more of these 4 gamers. It's going to be 3 and 2 gamers from now on, but we'll keep doing shows for the next few days, and Slack will still be active, I'm sure, as people still enjoy watching these games. The Brooms were alive and well. Yep, they really were. How about those Blue Jackets? That was pretty impressive what they did last night. It was the ending score was 7-3, but it was 3 empty net goals. So super close. Tampa battled back down 3-1, scored 2 quick ones, and then could not get over the hump. So good for Columbus. I don't know. I saw people complaining about how hockey playoffs are bad because an 8 seed shouldn't be able to sweep a 1, but they just outplayed them, I thought. So that's the fun part, I think. NBA more predictable. Usually the better regular season team wins, whereas that's not always the case in NHL. It's more single elimination type in terms of the variance, I think. So tonight, 3-gamer. Actually, let's talk about last night because it did not go very well for me at all. The 3 empty netters hurt a little bit. Pittsburgh scoring 1 goal really hurt because I had a bunch of all 3 of the lines. And then St. Louis not doing anything. Vegas 2 again. I told you guys I was going to be lower than the field on them. So that obviously did not work out very well. The 13.5 for Max Pacioretty will do that to you. But yeah, it was one of those nights after the tilt on Monday night, and then last night just didn't get anything going. I wasn't even close to anything. So sometimes those nights are fine. Get some good rest. Get back. You're not checking your scores all night. You don't have to sweat. Well, you'd rather be in the money, of course, but it's still, you're not going to win every night. So I knew I was done pretty early once Pittsburgh didn't do anything. I saw St. Louis wasn't doing anything. Winnipeg, 2 full-line goals. That also killed me. But yeah, everything went wrong for me last night. So hopefully we can get some of it back tonight. We still got the $10 tournament. That's super top-heavy. 1 point, 2 points is going to decide between 10K and I don't even know what the 5th place is, probably like $500. So we'll see. Hopefully can put myself in a position to take that down. You guys as well. Whatever tournaments you're playing or if you're competing against me in the 10, good luck. It'll be fun. Last night took an L, tonight we bounce back. Yep, that's exactly right. I don't know. How'd you guys feel about last night? If you were heavy on Vegas 2, you were probably okay. If you were heavy on Winnipeg 1, probably you were okay, depending on which tournaments you were playing. San Jose didn't do anything, so that also destroyed me. Didn't have a lot of flurry. Yeah, I'm looking at last night, just like the scores. I haven't been that wrong about that much stuff in a while. So, oh well. Cannot take it back, I suppose. So tonight, 3 games and should be 3 good ones. I'm trying to think of the series here. It's 3-1 in Toronto. Or no, 2-1 Leafs there. Here it is 2-1 Preds. And then 2-1 Avs. Avs possibly going up 3-1 tonight. That'd be a pretty big story. Pretty surprising, I think, to a lot of people. McKinnon's going to play another 40 minutes tonight. It'll be great. But anyways, let's talk about each one of these kind of individually. 2.8 implied for the Bruins, 3.3 for the Leafs. Tuukka Rask in net. Tuukka Rask in net against Freddie Anderson. Anderson's not confirmed. Anyone know why that would be? I mean, he's obviously starting, right? I didn't miss anything there. Okay. He's just unconfirmed. All right. So, unless something crazy were to happen, unless there's some injury, Anderson's going to go for the Leafs. Carson Kuhlman scratched for the Bruins, or at least he's expected to be scratched. These lines, I don't know. I think these are guesses based on Fantasy Cruncher and what Daily Faceoff has. Can we talk about Jones? What? Martin Jones? He's garbage, as we all thought. I was just hoping he could be average last night. Yeah, Jones is terrible. Okay, so Kuhlman scratched. I don't know what the deal is with these this Boston 2 line is, Boston 3. I saw Marcus Johansson, he skated with Coyle and maybe Heinen yesterday. And then it was Krejci, DeBrusk, and Kuhlman, and now Kuhlman's scratched. So it wasn't like Johansson just is replacing Kuhlman. He was skating yesterday in practice, and then now they've got him on the second line. It was an optional practice, so I don't know for sure. If anybody saw any word from the Boston Beats that says otherwise, or that can confirm these lines, I mean, feel free to let me know. Send me a link on Twitter or in Slack if you see anything. But I would guess this is what the lines would be with no Kuhlman. Maybe it won't even matter. But, I mean, this Krejci line is going to get a lot of Matthews. And I did like the Kuhlman, Krejci, DeBrusk stack. I would like it just as much if Marcus Johansson is in and with them. We should have 20 or so minutes, 30 minutes to make any swaps if we need to. I will probably just go with Johansson there and swap down if it ends up being Heinen or Backus or Nordstrom. Hopefully it's not Nordstrom, but yeah. As far as lines I want to play in this game, I really like all three of the Leafs lines here. Tavares line had a big bounce back game just as far as Corsi for, Corsi against, expected goals and all that. Against Boston 1, they hard matched them. And I think it was pretty even, the shots for and shots against. That's about as good as you can ask for against Boston 1. So obviously you give a little bit of a bump to Tavares and Marner at home. I'm sure their face-offs were in more favorable spots. So I really, really like both of these top two lines for the Leafs. I'm going to probably be over the field on Nylander, Marleau, and Connor Brown. It's not my favorite line, but I do have Marleau being a good value for 3,100. I do have Nylander being a good value for 4,400. You can leave off Brown if you want. If I was mini stacking it, I would go Marleau, Nylander as my priorities. Both guys in the power play, second unit together. So if you're going like 3-2-1 or something like that, or need a mini somehow, I don't mind that mini, even though, yes, no, I'm not a big Marleau guy at this point in his career. Boston 1 is tough to spend up when the Leafs don't take many PPs. Yeah, that definitely hurts because they have to do basically everything at 5-on-5 for that price. It's really tough. For that price, almost 21K on DK, you would really like them to have a at least neutral power play matchup. It's not great against Toronto. So I understand if you want to go elsewhere. If I was making one lineup, I don't think it would be Boston 1, but making, around 100 or so, up to 141, I think that I'm going to be close to the field, if not a little bit over, on Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak. I like playing all three of them or none of them. Like, I feel like whenever I try to guess between Marchand and Pasternak, I'm almost always wrong. So I'm going to try to avoid playing two-mans here with my 3-2-1s for Boston 1. The two-mans on the Toronto side would obviously be Tavares, Marner, and then either Matthews and Janssen, both guys on the top power play, or Matthews, Kapanen. Usually include the center when I can. Krejci had almost 10 shot attempts last game, which is kind of out of nowhere. I don't know what that was about, but that really stuck out to me. Maybe it's just getting to go up against the Matthews line because they're pretty poor defensively. So I really want to know who's on Boston too, because I would like to play a good amount of Boston too. And I'll play whoever it is, because I was going to play with Kuhlman, but if it's Marcus Johansson and we don't find out till later, maybe that lowers the ownership on the trio as a whole. Right now for the Toronto lines, the top two, on my last crunch, I was completely split, like right down the middle between those two. So I don't have a huge preference. The Matthews line gets a little bit better of a matchup avoiding Bergeron, but the Tavares line showed that they can handle them when they're at home, especially. So similarly priced, not similarly priced, Matthews 6,900 to 4-ish K guys on his line, whereas you've got the $6,700 Tavares, $6,600 Marner, more expensive. I think their ownership's going to be a little bit lower, the Tavares line, but I'm going to be really close as far as my exposure to each line. Morgan Riley, I like quite a bit. He played 27, 28 minutes last game. 5,500 is a price I'm okay playing him. And he's on the top power play. So much talent on that top power play unit. Tavares, Marner, Janssen, and Matthews. That's a pretty good place to be. And he is attempting a lot of shots as of late, especially over these last few games in the series, but even throughout the regular season and towards the end of the regular season. So he hasn't really trended downwards. I have no reason really to avoid him here at 5,500, even though it's not a great power play matchup. Krug up to 5,900. I'm not crazy about that. Did not really end up with a lot of Krug. So far, I probably won't really get there. So again, not crazy about the Boston defenseman. People were asking me about Chara the other night. I don't really see the appeal there. I think I'd rather go to Carlo or Grzelcyk for a little bit cheaper. Oh, very nice. Just another horror podcast. I'm a little late. Took down my first ever 4-figure win last night in Vegas, San Jose showdown, and just wanted to stop and say your projections plus a little secret sauce are making things easy. Nice. Very cool. Congrats. Love to hear that. Yeah, showdown. It'd be wise to get familiar with showdown. As these slates get smaller, we might only have showdown slates once it gets down to 2 and, well, obviously once it gets down to 1-game slates, but they might just roll out 2 showdown slates, honestly. But we'll see. Hopefully, I'd rather have a 2-game than a showdown until they really have to do the showdown, but we will see what they do. I think we're good here, actually. Anderson, Rask. I mean, Rask is going to see a lot of volume, 7,400. I hate talking about goalie. I didn't even end up with a lot of Rask, even though I think he's going to see a lot of volume. I don't know. I like Anderson more, and my exposures reflect that, even for 8,100. All right, let's go to Nashville and Dallas. We've got a 2.4 implied total for the Preds, 2.5 for the Stars. Pekka Rinne and Ben Bishop in net. Lost in the shuffle of the Colorado game, going completely nuts. First of all, there was like 80 penalties in that game. It was ridiculous, the amount of penalties. But on that same night, the Sagan, Radulov, and it was Ben for part of it. It was Zuccarello for part of it. It looks like it's going to be Zuccarello. It looks like it's going to be Ben based on what they did in morning skate. I saw a couple of the beat writers tweet out that they think it's going to be Ben, so they must have seen something. They must have seen something at practice this morning. But either way, we have this Seguin-Radulov combo combined for like 35 shot attempts. And it's not like they played McKinnon minutes. It's not like they played 30 minutes each. They played 20 minutes, a little over 20 minutes at all strengths. So I don't think I've seen numbers like that from a team for an entire game all season, or from two guys. So and you watch the game and they were just firing from everywhere. So if this game's going to be close, it's going to be tightly contested, and hopefully they're chasing at the end. Hopefully you get a couple goals early and it's another 3-2 game, because they were, Seguin and Radulov, every time they got the puck, they were creating scoring chances. They were basically just walking all over the Preds when they kind of needed to. And you look at the 5-on-5 numbers, it's not like they were doing it on the power play either. Seguin at 5-on-5, 16 minutes, 13 shot attempts, 10 scoring chances, 6 high danger chances. Radulov 9, 8, and 4. Ben 5, 5, and 3. You look at the all strength numbers and it's just outrageous. You don't often see 18 shot attempts from anyone, Brent Burns included. Seguin had 18, Radulov had 18, Seguin had 16. 25 total scoring chances from those two last game. Vots. Okay, so yeah, he says check out their high danger chances. Yeah, it's crazy. And they looked the part too. I was fading them at the end, fading Seguin and Radulov, and that was a fun one. Ultimately did not work out, as you guys know, but yeah, so they just looked incredible. The numbers backed it up, and now you're going to get Ben supposedly on the top line. That'll probably stick for most of the game. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we saw different lines for Dallas at the pregame skate. We've seen it multiple times this season. Like, if you see, for whatever reason, if it's Seguin, Radulov, and Dickinson again at pregame skate, half hour before the game, don't freak out. Just play Ben there. That's what I would do. They've gone to him with Seguin and Radulov every game this series so far. I would expect they keep doing that. It's going to be a pretty tight series, you would think. So Seguin's going to be my highest exposed player. It's looking like over McKinnon, which is a little bit scary, but I think the ownership's going to be similar. I think we might see Colorado even chalkier than Dallas, which I'll take Dallas in that case. And I am taking Dallas in that case. On the other side, we have the Johansson line. I still think they're underpriced. I don't know why they're not finishing their chances. Not having a power play is big for them, of course. They weren't great last game. Even when you go score and venue adjusted, like, they didn't need to be great at the end of the game, but you look at 5-on-5, score and venue adjusted, they still weren't even good. And they didn't really see a crazy hard match from anyone. I thought they might see Faxa for the most part. I think that would be a favorable matchup for them, but Dallas did a good job switching it up with some against the Seguin line, some against Faxa, some against the second line for Dallas as well. The Turris, Granlund, Smith line, I believe, was also really bad. Let me check on this. Yeah, 17 shot attempts for 7 shot attempts for, 18 shot attempts against, 14 scoring chances against, and 7 high danger chances against, and that was all in 8 minutes. So they got trounced. Wow. They got absolutely trounced. Didn't even realize they were that bad when I looked at this earlier. Okay. So I think my highest exposed line is going to be Nashville 1. After that, it might be pretty even between Nashville 2 and Nashville 3. I think 3 is a little bit interesting at that price if you want to fit in Colorado 1, if you want to fit in Dallas 1. if you want to fit in, Boston won. So I actually don't hate Nashville 3. They were decent last game, and they played a bunch against the Sagan line. So that's a line that's willing to trade chances. I have no problem with that. And they got good ice time as well, which you like to see. Second power play doesn't really matter that much, but, if they can get some production out of that, either unit, that would be very helpful to them. Nashville one is just cheap to me. Yeah, they're too cheap based on how talented they are. They also cannot score points. They haven't been able to, which has been my kryptonite all season. Both of these teams have kind of been my kryptonite all season. So maybe I'll make some money back on them tonight. Yossi at 5,700 actually wasn't coming up great for me. Neither was Subban. The guy that I had a little bit of was Ekholm at 4,200. I usually try not to include a ton of guys that don't get power play time, but there's just not really a ton of guys in this range. Honestly, there's Ekholm, there's Heiskanen, but who else do you really want to play? You want to play Eric Johnson and chase points there. I mean, you could. Maybe it's not chasing points. He did have a ceiling game last game, though, which ultimately cost me a lot. But I guess there are some other options. Ekholm's just one that I am getting a little bit to at 4,200. Heiskanen on the other side, 4,500 is also an intriguing option. He just looks really good when I watch him, and you can just tell the talent's there. So maybe he's not a 100% Cole for sure. Maybe he's not a stud just yet, but he's on the verge of being one. I don't think I can play him over Klingberg just yet at 5,200, although Klingberg's been pretty quiet as well. I guess I don't really have anything much to talk about here with Dallas 1 because you've got Ben listed on that line. So I was kind of hoping they would list Zuccarello there, and maybe you could play some lineups with Zuccarello, some with Ben, and get kind of the best of both worlds. Any NBA today? I think so. I think we have a live before lock show. Let me check. We have an MLB live before lock show with myself and Josh Engelman later. I don't know that we have an NBA show. Oh, is it? Is it EMAC? 6 p.m. live before lock for NBA? Okay. I don't see it in the upcoming, but maybe that will get made. Okay. Let's move it on. Flames and Avalanche. We have a 3 implied total for the Flames, 3 as well for the Avs. Mike Smith going up against Philip Grubauer. I didn't think Mike Smith was that bad the other night. Like I said, there was just a ridiculous amount of penalties in that game. It was every single time you look up from, I was on my laptop or whatever, on my phone, and all of a sudden there'd be another penalty. And yeah, I guess that's how Ian Cole gets you 90K points and Johnson gets you 8. And oddly enough, Tyson Barrie didn't really do anything noteworthy that game. Cal Maker also was good. Did we decide, is it Maker or Makar or what? Either way, really tough for me to play Colorado here without playing the top line. The Soderberg, Wilson, Rantanen line is a little bit intriguing. They're going to see decent ice time. Rantanen, they're going to play him a ton. So whoever's playing with him, I think is fine. They actually didn't go to Rantanen with McKinnon and Landeskog much last game, and I don't know if that was just because they were up and they kind of had the game in control for the most part or what. I still think that could change at any time. If they got down early tonight, I think you might see a lot of Rantanen with McKinnon and Landeskog, especially in the third period. So I still think you can play him with them. Outside of the normal power play stack, I think if you wanted to go all year Colorado 1 with Rantanen, I don't think that would be a really dumb idea at all. So similar to what I was thinking about last night with Makar, similar to what I was talking about last night with San Jose, that obviously did not work out at all. We have a Flames team that I think is going to go really under-owned. I think we're going to see Dallas 1, and think about it. You've got Dallas, Toronto, Colorado on this slate, and where is Calgary going to fit in on that? I think they might be the lowest owned of the bunch. So for me, I'm trying to get overweight on Calgary 1. They don't particularly grade out perfectly for me as far as the team I would want to go super overweight on, but I might force it in just because I think all these lines are pretty similar. So just taking the ones that are lower owned, I think is okay. And they had a fine game at 5-on-5 last game. The game just got away from Calgary really early. McKinnon was a beast. Not saying he's not going to be a beast tonight, but if Calgary can stay out of the penalty box, they should have the advantage. They just have way more depth than Colorado. So we shall see. The Backlund line, I am getting to over 10% of them, so I would imagine that's going to fall over the field as well. McKinnon, Landeskog, and Kerfoot, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with them. It's just, I'm probably going to run some with McKinnon, Landeskog, Kerfoot, and then I'll have another few lineups with McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen just because I can't really decide. Either one is viable. Don't think you can't play Kerfoot with the big guns up top. He played a lot of minutes. Like I said, he stuck with them basically all game outside of a minute that Rantanen got with McKinnon, Landeskog. And I think that was just with McKinnon, now that I think of it, because there was a bunch of 4-on-4 action. So they just went McKinnon and Rantanen, maybe Landeskog was in the box or something. All right. Anything else in this game? On the forwards, yeah, Colin Wilson was on the power play 1 last game, Tyler. He was. On defense here, couple of my favorite guys, Barry and Mark Giordano. 6,300 for Gio, 5,600 for Tyson Barry. Hopefully everybody gets on to Cole and Eric Johnson. I think they're fine plays again. They just both coming off ceiling games. I'd rather not. I'll take Tyson Barry. I'll take my shot there with the top guys on the power play. And then same thing with Mark Giordano. I think he goes really well with Calgary 1. I think you can play him with Calgary 2 as well. Kachuk on the power play so they can hook up there. And then that's really about it. Cale Makar, I mean, he's fine, but all the way up to 3,200 now. Maybe a little bit overpriced, I think, just based on one game. Interesting. What is this? I'm getting messages in Slack. Nice. Oh, okay. We just added something to the site. Cool. So people who play baseball, you will appreciate this. Josh and I will show it to you on the Live Before Lock show. It'll be something pretty useful to people, I believe. It's been a popular request. So, exciting news. That is called a tease. Hope you guys appreciate my professionalism as I continue this broadcasting career. Like I said, Gio, Tyson Barry, my exposure for Colorado 1 right now is in the 20% range. I'm okay being a little bit underweight. Like I said, zig while you zag. I do have a bunch of McKinnon one-offs and McKinnon Landeskog duos like that. Like I said, I'm running some 3-2-1 tonight again. So I will have a little bit of that, a little bit of everything with Colorado 1, making my lineups different to the majority of people that will just lock in Kerfoot. We'll have some Kerfoot with them, but it'll be a mixture of kind of everyone. Johansson a better play. I don't know. I don't think Wilson's a great one-off. Oh, Andreas Janssen? Oh, yeah. Andreas Janssen, give me him over Colin Wilson all day. If you can afford the 1K, yeah, for sure. Anyone got anything else for me here? I feel like I went through these games super quick. But that's what happens when you only got 3 of them, and we've seen these matchups just the other night. One thing I was going to maybe check on was the ownership, trying to project out, because we saw all 3 of these games play out the other night. So just seeing what the ownership was and seeing if it's going to be similar. Obviously not going to be perfect because I don't know how to run ownership projections yet. So I don't have, I won't be able to, having the new salaries, just to have something to put in Fantasy Cruncher, I think would be valuable. If I could somehow figure out who's going to be the most owned, maybe make some manual adjustments based on what we saw the other night. Wilson isn't good. That's putting it lightly, I think. Yeah, I don't think Wilson's great. All right, well, it looks like no one's really talking in chat. My apologies for disparaging Shea Theodore yesterday, Jake. Went Bufflin, and it cost me a few extra $100. Yeah, Shea Theodore, he's the truth. He is, he's really good, man. So play Theodore. You might only have one more time this series, and then you'll have a little bit of a layoff until next series, because based on the San Jose goaltending, they look cooked. So we'll see if Dell can save their season. I think they play tomorrow. Highest owned goalie? For me, or who's going to be the highest owned goalie? For me, right now I have actually both the guys in the Nashville game, Nashville-Dallas. Both of those two, Bishop and Rene. And then I think, looking at it, who is going to be the highest on goalie? Should be pretty spread around with these prices. Maybe Bishop, just because the 2.4 goals against, a lot of people will like that, I believe. And home favorite, Bishop and Gruby are locks. I don't think Grubauer's a lock. But we will see. Lowest owned will be Rask. No, I think lowest owned will be Mike Smith because people will play Colorado. Yeah, I like Bishop. I like Bishop for sure. Theodore's just a stud, Bryce. All right. I think we're good here. How long have we been going? 35 minutes. Yeah, that's about all we need at this point during the series. So the series will shift back to the higher seeded teams' home arena starting tomorrow. I think we have 2 games tomorrow. I hope we have 2 games tomorrow. If it's just one, that would be unfortunate. Oh no, we've got 3 tomorrow. Cool. All right, 3 games tomorrow. Capitals, my Caps. Hurricanes. I'm sorry, not my Caps, my Canes, I meant to say. So Canes, Jets, Blues, and Knights, Sharks. Knights looking to close it out. Canes looking to even it up, and the Jets looking to win 3 straight over my Blues. What's happening to my Blues, man? All the road teams have won each game in that series. Radulov or Landeskog raw points. Let me check. I believe it's Radulov higher. Yep, I've got Radulov higher by almost a half of a point. 0.4 points. So, yeah. Radulov is your answer there. Kerfoot, B points grade again. Yeah, he's playing the minutes. He's playing with talented players. High implied total. I don't think that's a bad points grade. Okay. That's going to do it, guys. Thanks for sticking with, again, all you loyal viewers. If you could, give me a like. That would be appreciated. Help me look good for the bosses for next season. We'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, 3-game slate. Good luck tonight, guys. Hit me up on Slack or Twitter if you got any questions or comments or whatever. I'd love to hear it. Good luck.